Hi, I'm Chris Williams. I'm a part of Broke Gravy. We are an improv group, a trio, if you will.
Triumvirate.
I got nothing.
Eric Simons. Broke Gravy. You can put my name right there.
And I'm Leon Anderson. I'm also a member of Broke Gravy.
Yeah. And we've been asked to come to the Portland Art Museum and talk about art, in particular, Robert Colescott.
Little background info. You might not be able to see this, but beneath the masks, we are three black men. We've been performing together for 4 years.
I think they can tell that we're black. I just want to...
I don't know. I don't know how the editing works.
Okay.
Yeah. We've been performing together for 4 years.
About 4 years.
About 4 years. In these times, in these trying times, we've been spinning up a podcast called What You Want to Know. And this is actually the first time that we've looked at each other like real eye to real eye.
Three dimensions.
Like 4 months.
Huh.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way to me.
You didn't miss us? That's rude.
You didn't miss a step?
I see you every week on Zoom, and that feels like enough. That feels like enough.
Got it. Cool. All right. Back to the art, right?
So some background to Robert Colescott. Born in 1928. 25.
Yep.
Robert Colescott is a...
I'll step in there. Robert Colescott has never been more relevant, I really feel, than in the present moment in time. Given this crisis of race relations and image management and political manipulation, in the current American landscape, his perspectives, they're on point.
And honestly, before I came into the Portland Art Museum to look at these paintings, I had no idea who Robert Colescott was at all. Not an idea. And just spending some time with his paintings, I think even if you don't particularly like his style, you will be affected by the images that he paints. I am still unsure if I actually like his paintings. But I have very strong reactions.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely feel that, because there's paintings that get emotions out of me that I think are things that I'm even grappling with as I get older, as a black man, as I get older, as a member of a mixed race couple, and as I have recently brought a child into this world that's kind of still dealing with race and will continue to deal with race probably until I'm gone. The stuff is just laid out in all of his works. Tons of room for interpretation, tons of room for just a lot of images and thoughts and ideas to grapple with in each painting. That you could spend all day on them, honestly.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here in front of 1919.
So I recently learned that on the right-hand side is Colescott's father, and on the left-hand side you see his mother, who, my first glance at it, I assumed was a white woman, so clearly white passing. And that idea of the arrow kind of moving from Louisiana west towards this idea of passing or of whiteness, as well as the banner of Go West, it kind of brings in this whole new interpretation of what all of this means and where Colescott maybe was being pulled to or was pushing against, I don't know, in his own life. We chose this painting, 1919, as a starting place, probably for various different reasons. So we all kind of brought together what our wish list was of paintings that we wanted to take a look at, and this one was on all of our lists. So we started here, and for me, it was the idea of, this is very grounding. You have America, And as 3 Black Americans who are from different parts of America and who have had different experiences, this almost seems like something that kind of pulls us together into a common space that we can then go off and explore from.
Yeah, it kind of encapsulates a lot of the ways that I look at America, in that it's messy. There's things that are both a source of pride and can also be a source of pain in the same image. Depending on who looks at it, when they look at it, just even how you're feeling that day when you look at it, you're going to get something different from this. And like I said, sometimes it's something beautiful and sometimes it's something kind of painful. It gives you a chance to bring some of yourself to it, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, I think it just boldly starts with the United States of America, literally. And I think that's what drew me to it. I also find it interesting that it's kind of bordered or surrounded by these, almost that fairy tale pink cloud kind of a motif, if you will. I don't know if that's the right use of that word. But so there's like this imagination, this fairy tale of what the United States is. But then when you focus in and really look at it, you have what appears to be almost, at least if you look at the larger images, these 2 Americas, right? You have this America on the West Coast, and then you have this America on the East Coast with this black man who is his father, right? A buffalo soldier, also it looks like, because he has a little patch of a buffalo on his shoulder, right? So there's the duality already happening, and then you have just a little peppered in pictures. One thing that sticks out to me in particular is the native representation, right? You just see kind of this little head of what appears to be a native male, and then you have like the teepee up there in the corner. And that's pretty much it, right? Which really kind of flushes in with today, right? And just how forgotten Native people are, even though they literally were here before any of us.
100%.
So, yeah, I'm fascinated by that.
Knowing that this is a family kind of story, and recently learning that it's his father and his mother, I start to question a lot of the other works in that go throughout, where I have assumed that the white person in the painting was a lover or a partner, and I'm starting to wonder, like, is there actually, like, is it representations of his mother or of an ideal of a female figure that have carried through from his family as we go through?
I actually didn't want to know if we wanted to discuss the ample bosom that he...
I tried to say buxom.
Oh, okay.
But this mask
I was
maybe,
actually holding back because I mean, clearly,
yeah.
there is a sexual nature to his drawings and or paintings of women. And this is and knowing that that's his mom,
That's kind of, yeah.
is interesting now.
I mean, it could just be about fertility, Chris, but it also probably is a little sexual.
Oh, it's definitely
Nurturing.
It's definitely sexual.
Well, now that Chris has breasts on the mind, let's go take a look. Nah, that's not a good segue.
Hey guys, why don't we go take a look at the other paintings? We are sitting in front of Robert Colescott's painting called Big Bathers, Another Judgment. It looks like he painted this one in 1984. What are your thoughts? What jumps out at you two?
At first, I only noticed, 5 figures in here, like 5 viewers or 5 subjects. And then just as we sat down, I noticed this young man over here.
To me, it feels like, I do feel youth from that. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's a little girl and she's idolizing the white woman. Or what looks to be, because I don't think you can really, with his works, I'm realizing now, you can't really say for certain
what's black and what's white, yeah.
But what looks to be the white woman. there's something in that eye, in that one eye you see, of just like, oh.
It's the trajectory. It's the looking up.
The gaze.
The gaze that I can see a world where that is, young woman at point A, and that is her attempt at looking like this woman is older, when she's older. Because she's got the red hair that, while there's hints of red in the other two in the background, that to me is more trying to just kind of hit at a certain kind of brown or, dark black. But this is vividly attempting to be the same color as the white woman.
Right.
And the tan lines explicitly make it so that she is showing parts of white. And almost overcompensating with those tan lines to try and be lighter.
Oh, I get what
Interesting.
you're saying.
Even the eyes don't have pupils. Almost as if to say that by trying to emulate that look,
You've
there's
lost
no
your
soul.
humanity.
There's no soul in what they're doing. And she's totally doing like a
Look at me.
but not just look at me, but like a minstrel pose. There's almost like
Shucking
a
and
show.
jiving.
Yeah,
Shucking
there's
and
like
jiving.
and it's almost like, I know we were talking about how those hands, I think, almost could look both like distorted, as if there's something wrong with them, but it also could be motion.
That's a really
And it's
good...
almost kind of like like you're saying, like the shucking and jiving.
For some reason, I assume that that's him.
That who's that?
Colescott, sorry. I just
okay.
assume that that's him, and I didn't ever get sleeping, but I'm guessing since that he is sleeping. Maybe not. Oh, it feels like with the placement of his hands, and I'm assuming he's nude.
Got a little penis right there.
Yeah, since there's what looks to be a penis there in the corner. It's just that male gaze of all of the women.
It's kind of a contentment, like it's like it doesn't matter to him. They're all women.
There's also if in fact he is the only one sleeping in this entire piece, there's that aspect of, as a male in society, you do get to just go to sleep. Like you
Yes.
can sleep on all of the issues.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to constantly be doing the things and presenting and being like out there trying to be someone who you're not. You can just relax.
Yes, like these four women are all just as nude, or you could argue the other two are hiding a little bit, but they're all basically as nude as he is. And society is still just like, oh yeah, go over there, have an apple, it's all good. But they are all either posturing, they're trying to emulate, they're maybe hiding. They're all having to play a game. And while it's not to say that men don't have to at all, it's not.
It's not.
It's nowhere near the same game.
To me, the only person or figure in this painting, to me, not playing a game, is this woman. I find her to be the most beautiful. That's just me again. I find her to almost be the most goddess-like. She seems like she just popped out of this pool of water that she's always in, and there's these three women here, and I'm probably totally wrong, but there's these three women here just posing. They're all posing.
Yeah.
She doesn't strike me as someone that's posing. She just has the hair, what feels to be like the natural hair, her skin, everything about it to me just feels like...
Hair.
What?
No,
sorry.
finish
It
your
just
thought.
feels real, and then the rest of this just feels posed.
So, I will hearken to the quote that's kind of above this of their competing standards of beauty, and also about the intrusion of the white world on a black world. And I saw both of these two figures in the back being of the ocean. They are of this world. And these two are imposing upon their environment. So they're the two that are standing on the sand. They're also the two that have the most Euro features, or that kind of idea of like
Skinny.
thin. Yeah. And so I saw both of them in the background as this is their space that's being intruded upon.
Okay. I would say that this figure, this woman, also seems the least human to me. This figure that is a little bit creepy, if I'm being honest. There's something very, God, almost dangerous. I hate to use that word, but it just feels dangerous. Her eyes are straight up white.
Yeah.
She has just straight up white eyes. Everybody else, there's life in their eyes. You
Even
know?
if that life is like
I mean, her eyes are
uncaring or like a confidence,
Yeah.
like an unwavering confidence. Yeah.
Well, the white woman, let's
she's
just be
using
real.
it.
She is that position. She is like, I'm better than you. You know what? Like, I'm even gonna close my eyes. You can literally hear her sound. Right? You just heard it. I just heard it.
Well.
So yeah, I just think, but there's something unnerving and uncomfortable about this woman in the white bikini.
I will say that even though I took a kind of like Shakespearean acting class, and it talked about the power of like open and closed. And just like the majority of life, we go around and we either like cover our like soft midsection, or we cross our legs to like cover those sensitive areas. And in this central figure, she is both at once like feigning openness by being like straight up open to the viewer, but her legs are also crossed.
Yes.
And so the most like intimate part of herself is closed off to the viewer.
Why do you guys think she's the only one with clothes on?
She doesn't have clothes on.
See,
Oh, you're calling these, that's what you were saying. These are tan lines.
They're tan lines.
see, I assumed that it was a bikini too, but I was leaning into
Oh, that's what you're
what
saying.
you were saying about the tan line.
You see her vagina and her nipples.
So now,
I
assuming
didn't get
that those
that.
are tan lines, are you saying that this is a
white
white
woman?
person that is trying to become black?
Oh my God.
No, I was saying it's a black
Ooh,
Oh.
yeah.
If you're saying these are tan lines, then this is a white presenting woman who is clearly going to have skin cancer, but also is trying.
But you know what? Adding to the blackface thought is like, notice the swirl of pinkness there. That it's like has something been
I think it's a black woman in a white bikini because of
the palms.
because of her hands. That's so interesting. I didn't get what you were saying about the tan lines. I'm sorry.
I mean, I still believe that it is meant to represent a black woman trying to be white with tan lines, whether it's a white showing or somewhat showing that's trying to. Oh man,
See,
I don't know.
You know what?
But I mean, it's a painting. It doesn't have to be realistic to life.
Yeah, so the uncertainty that this is bringing up right now, especially as we all sat in front of this for a while and looking at this painting, and I don't think any of us really noticed or took note of that. It kind of harkens into that, I think I saw it written up front of that 1-2 punch of like, you see it, you take it in, and then upon closer examination, it's like, oh shit, this is deeper than I ever knew. And so now I can't focus on anything else except for what.
But now my question is, if she is not black and she is white, then now I'm uncertain about this woman over there also.
The
The woman who just has like this goddess energy to herself. And
Well, it kind of plays into what you were saying, though, because if she is white and she is attempting to actually move from whiteness to this, to the goddess over here, that plays into that intrusion of white on a black world. And, you know, you can watch, like, there's so many TikTok videos where you have young white kids that are posting a video where they're voiced over by a black voice. And it's like, there is this desire for blackness that exists. And maybe that is in here.
or, because I'm sticking with this is a white bikini, Or are we saying, or is he saying that this is acceptable? The white woman's nudity is actually beauty. This is like nature. This is what it is. And this needs to be covered up to some point because it's not. It's not, this is not as beautiful as this, right? This is forced to cover itself up. This is not. I'm saying this like they're not people, but you know what I mean. That could be another take on this. Black women are not allowed to fully express themselves the way that white women are. So they have to protect themselves, or they are forced to cover up themselves to some degree.
It's almost one or the other. You either have to try and become this, or you need to cover up your most vulnerable parts to fit in. And either way, the ground that she is standing on is tainted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And she's at an awkward angle, an uncomfortable angle. And this person is just like long spine, right?
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see like where he chooses to put women in clothes and where he doesn't, like throughout the other works in the piece.
Oh. So hey guys, should we go look at the next painting?
Let's do it.
We are now looking at Listening to Amos and Andy from 1983, acrylic on canvas.
This one has a lot for me personally. There's a lot going on that hits me. I think as a person in the, what do we call it? The creative community, the comedic community. What is our community called?
The creator class.
The performing community. You have what appears, again, I don't want to assume, what appears to be a family of color, right? Even though the woman is wearing this, who has this color of hair and hairstyle that looks to be traditionally like European, I would say, of the time. So we could talk about that, and they're listening to what they believe are people of color on the radio, Black people on the radio. And then we are shown that is not the case. And I'm also fascinated by the shadow that Colescott did. Which is like this Black man with full lips, right?
It is a caricature of a Black man.
Yeah. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
It's a lie. It is white people profiting, once again, off of Black culture, right? Pretending to be something they're not.
And also just like an imitation of Black culture, which is purposefully derogatory and like kind of pulling down Blacks as stupid and shiftless and all of that kind of vaudevillian nature of it.
Which you get from the tongue sticking out like he's probably doing some kind of a voice.
But then this family is clearly like not of that kind of like well-dressed, seemingly a home of means kind of a thing, which is very different than the portrayal of Amos and Andy.
Every single character is either smoking or will be because he's got a pack in his pocket. And he's got the same coat on as it's coming through.
Oh yeah, the black hand.
But the hand, it's not a black hand. That is like...
Is it tan?
No, it is
it's
a
like
painted black hand. It's a black face hand.
It looks like the hand of like an ape.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's good. That's good. I like that.
Like an animal.
I like that. You're right. Look at you, Eric.
That's, you know.
It's an animal's hand coming through and ashing out onto their rug. This exudes racism on a level that I feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can hear in my ears, I can hear him doing some voice of just making fun of what he thinks.
You want to do the voice for
Black, no, of what he thinks.
That's too meta.
Of what he thinks Black people sound like, right? It's just very old Hollywood up here, and it's just, I just can't get over how much it's just like lies. However, I will say, it does kind of feel like the woman can see it.
She's looking right at it.
You know what I mean? It almost feels like
She can
the
see through
kid is like boom at the monkey hand or whatever we're calling it. But she's kind of like, it's almost like she knows, but is still entertained by it, which might explain her hair a little bit more, if we think about it.
Or it just makes it a little bit more intentional. Like we heard earlier that his Colescott's mother could be white passing, and actually projected that onto her children of like the benefits of passing as white. So this could be a very intentional, like she knows that it's a false caricature of blackness, but she is letting her child ingest it so that she pushes him further away from blackness and more into the comfort and safety of this white world.
And if with that, what seems to be a very comfortable home. You know, at the time that this show was on, that this would probably be taking place in, there probably weren't a lot of blacks that seemed to be living a middle class life. So some of that is maybe her, again, like intentionally ingesting a little bit of poison for something better.
Right.
And now I'm actually realizing like that light looks like a sun and it's nighttime down here, right? So you have this
Night and day.
night and day juxtaposition. The smoke looks like clouds actually.
Yep, the blue sky back there.
And then you have who's
Mr. like Snidely
who's
Whiplash
homeboy,
right there.
Frankly,
Disney?
my dear, I don't give a damn. Who's that dude?
Oh, frankly, my
Frankly,
dear.
my dear, I don't
give a
give a damn. Let's talk to this
Rhett
happy
Butler.
slave. He's got like a Walt Disney or that dude.
I said Walt Disney. He looks like Walt
Look
Disney.
to him, right? And he's in control. Like he's working the dials, right? And these dudes are just, you know.
I mean, the way it's played by having him look so kind of smooth and together compared to these two, even though, yes, on one hand, they're being caricatures, it's almost as if the person in real control and with the money is playing them as well.
It's so pitting,
Wizard of
pitting
Oz.
poor whites against blacks.
And you can tell because he has kind of stubble. Like these dudes don't look great.
No, they
You
haven't
know what I
been-
mean? This guy's a taxi driver
Yep.
or whatever. Like, and you know, he's got some stubble. This dude, I don't know, this dude really bothers me. There's something about this guy that really just annoys me. But yeah, this guy is like the Wizard of Oz. He's the guy who's literally turning the dials.
Yep.
Right? He's making it happen.
And he's the one with the bluest part.
With the what?
The
Oh, yeah.
bluest kind of sky. He's like not totally in the sun light.
Yeah,
But,
he's out of it. He's just in the background. If this all goes to shit, these two up front are gonna take the fall.
Yep, and he's going to move on to the next thing. He's done with Reconstruction, so he's coming up with Jim Crow.
Yep.
He's done with Jim Crow, so he's creating the prison industrial complex.
Preach.
What's next?
And he doesn't even have smoke coming out of his
scared.
cigarette. You notice that? Like he's not even being polluted by his own like cigarette.
Shit.
There's no smoke coming out of his cigarette. That's how clean this man is. That's how wealthy this man is.
Teflon.
He just like will disappear into the night.
He already is disappearing into the background. Like the shirt
like
is just
like you're saying, like, oh, okay, well we're done with this, and he just go throw his money behind something else.
Last week we were talking about Sidney Poitier, and he was the first like black actor to make a name outside of that like coon image or outside of that Sambo image. And so it's like,
Look,
who
yeah,
created those? Those are created by Michael Eisner up in the corner right there. So like satire and comedy, I love the use of it in this because it pulls your attention. Your attention is immediately pulled up to the yellow half of this, to the people who are in the booth, which is like really the thing that's previously hidden, and which is tried to be kept in the shadows, that there is this white orchestration of blackness. But by like making those figures so bold and their like faces so big and gaudy, it's like you immediately look at what Colescott is trying to like expose. He's like throwing the curtains open and telling you like, yo, this is who's really behind all of this, and forcing your gaze into it.
But he's also making fun of a serious. I mean, you can see that he's making light of it. I actually think that's what that shadow is about, right? With those lips, right? Like, he is being comical about a very serious issue, right? He's being comical about racism, about exploitation. He's adding a lightness to it that, honestly, in different company, depending on who you're around, you can find certain things to be more humorous. If I'm around my brother, the things that we laugh at are not funny.
Right.
And we don't think they're funny,
but
they make
tickle
us
you.
laugh because we're like, God, this is the world. This is insane that this is the world. So my brother and I would actually laugh at those lips because they're ridiculous. And we'd laugh because we're like, oh, this is how people actually see us, right? They actually see us as monkeys. And now seeing that as a monkey paw, if that was more of a monkey paw, I would have chuckled at it because it's so insane and so ridiculous. But I would have seen like the humor in it.
But I mean, so like what I'm interested in is, how does this play to 3 white comedians? 3 white people. Like that sort of, these things I find funny because I need to have things to laugh at. And I know that it's a black artist doing it.
Yes,
We all came together as a group of performers because we have been in the situations where we're the tokenized person on our improv team. We're the representation of a POC. We're the only black person in an entire theater company.
An entire theater sometimes.
An entire theater, yeah. And so it's like we gravitated to each other so we could be black, be more true to who we are as black men. Because we have to put on this palatable image of blackness for our white performers and for white audiences. But when we get together and we can get into the nuances of blackness, while it wasn't something that a white audience was looking for, it is something that they have found that they need. I have so many people who like talk about the podcast and they're just like, yo, thank you for broaching difficult conversations in a funny and creative way. It's like I get to be inside of your conversation. And so it's like we use humor and we use a little bit of satire in order to like really tackle those things that are like demons and dangers and fears in our own daily lives, and topics that we don't get to talk about on the street or on a stage with a group of white performers.
When you add race to any art, I think you're just going to get a dynamic conversation if people are brave enough to have that conversation, right? Our conversation we're having right now would change completely if you added a white person to a chair. That person might be uncomfortable saying some stuff. We might be a little bit more like, yeah, what you got to say about that hand?
We both would start performing.
Yes.
In different ways.
Yes, totally.
I would guess that even though I've always tried to bring a level of vulnerability to my improv and our comedy, you're on guard the whole time you perform with other white people.
Yeah.
And we've gotten lots of compliments on the ways that we weave different emotions and vulnerabilities and the way we present different types of characters, because we're able to show the wealth of people we've met, the wealth of people we know, the ways that we are, and put that into our work in a way that you just kind of don't have the energy to when you're busy being like, okay, I got to defend the whole black race.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to be like,
Yeah.
oh, that was kind of, how can I fix what you just said so that I don't look like an idiot?
Yeah.
Or even that you don't look like an idiot,
Yeah,
because
right.
you know, we
Yeah,
are
yeah.
looking out for your ass too.
So maybe that's what Colescott started doing. I'm guessing maybe the older he got and the more comfortable he got in his skin, it's just him and the canvas and the paint, right?
Yep.
So he doesn't have to kind of worry. He doesn't have to be on guard. It's just him and his ideas, boom. I'm doing it because that's what I want to do. And he's like, fuck them if they don't get it.